Your Honor, may I ask a question?
Who's speaking?
My last name is Sanford, Sanford.
Okay, hold one moment. Ms. Falk, I see your request. I am familiar with the facts of that case. I did read the warrant. Is a breakout necessary to discuss anything further? I don't know if Ms. Falk is there. All right.
think we have any additional items to add beyond what's in the warrant, Your Honor.
All right. All right, let's get started. It's down 2 p.m. This is the state expedited accusations calendar in the state court of Fulton County. I am Judge Melanie Williams, and today is September the 22nd of 2022. All participants, this particular proceeding is being broadcast over the internet as a live stream. It is also being recorded. That means that any member of the public can log on and watch this particular proceeding. All defendants, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say regarding the facts of this case can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney today. Also, to make clear, this particular calendar is for those individuals who have been recently arrested, but the cases have already been formally accused and bound over to state court. Those who receive a surety or a cash bond today will be reset to the October 6th state all-purpose calendar in the state court of Fulton County. And those who receive a signature bond will be reset for the notice for trial by a division judge. All right, I am having slight technical issues. Give me one moment. All right, who do we have first at the jail? And there was someone asking a question. Who was asking a question?
That was
Other
me.
than Paul?
Yeah, that was me, but I was able to confirm.
All right, thank you. All right, who do we have first at the jail? Courtroom 2 just left, I just saw.
So they may have lost their internet for a minute, Judge.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Are there any other announcements from either the state of defense regarding breakouts? Right.
Your Honor, actually, I will be submitting a waiver of appearance for YBB. The last name YBB, Your Honor, I believe it is position number 10. No, 12. And I'll be shortly submitting that soon. Thank you.
Okay, you're waiving for both of those positions?
Just one, Your
11
Honor.
and 12.
12.
Oh, number 12.
I had 11 and 12. YBB is 11 and 12. Is that not correct?
That's what I have too.
Yes,
He
Your
has
Honor.
2 cases. Your
Yes,
Honor.
he has 2 cases.
Yes, Your Honor. Those
All
are
right.
the ones.
All right, if we can't get the jail back on the line, we could go ahead and do that waived case. Ms. Kim, are you going to get that waiver to Ms. Grace in the next few minutes?
Yes, shortly, Your Honor.
All
I'm
right.
working on it.
We'll go ahead and do that case then. In the case of Francis YBB, case number 22 CR 00427E, defendant is charged with loitering and prowling and willful obstruction with the offense date of September the 20th. In the case 22 CR 0064228E, defendant is charged with the same offenses, loitering and prowling and willful obstruction, but that offense date is the 21st of September. Mr. Howard, can I have his history?
15 total between Georgia and North Carolina. Resident of Charlotte. I'm gonna give you the Georgia history first. 2016 probation for shoplifting. That's out of Dunwoody. 2016, the initial shoplifting got a 2016 FTA. 2016 shoplifting conviction. Another 2016 shoplifting conviction. North Carolina, last arrest was 2016 out of Charlotte for larceny of property. Another 2016 arrest for larceny of property. 2015, communicating threats, larceny of property. Another 2015 arrest for communicating threats. Another one, this one was dismissed. 2015 larceny of property. 2010 shoplifting conviction. Another
Okay. I think that's good. Thank you. Whose case is this for the state?
These are my cases. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Ms. Duncan. Can I please have the state's recommendation?
The state's recommendation for position 11 with the incident date of September 20th, 2022. There is a $2,000 total preset surety bond. That's $1,000 per count. The state is going to be requesting that that remain as set with no further violent contact with either officer involved in the incident. Those officers are Georgia Tech police officers T. Dean and B. Groves. We're also going to be asking that this defendant stay away from the entire Georgia Tech campus. 1-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and no further violations of Georgia law. Here, the state has a pretty serious concern about the risk of reoffense, given that this defendant does have 2 cases from the similar locations on the calendar, as well as the likelihood to respond to the legal process, given that he has previous FTAs and probation violations in this incident. The defendant was at the Graduate Living Center at Georgia Tech, located at 301 10th Street, was told to leave when approached by officers. He resisted arrest, so much so to where the 2 officers had to wrestle him to the ground. And while they were wrestling him to the ground, he was attempting to reach their tasers. He was finally subdued and placed into custody. Given the facts and circumstances surrounding this case and the defendant's history, as well as the other factors present in the case, the state believes that that $2,000 total surety is more than reasonable in this case. Would the court like me to go to position 12?
Go ahead and do position 12 at the same time, please.
Okay, for position 12, the offense occurred on September 21st, 2022. There is a preset bond in this case of a $3,000 total surety, and that's $1,500 per count. The state will additionally be requesting that that remain as set with no further violent contact with the officer involved in this case, and that's Officer M. Fantagrassi. The state additionally has a concern about the flight risk and the likelihood of reoffense in this case, as well as the likelihood to respond to legal process, given the reasons already on the record. This offense occurred at the Joseph Brown Whitehead Health Services building near Georgia Tech at 464th Street. The defendant was approached by Georgia Tech police officers, asked why he was on campus, and when officers attempted to apprehend him, he ran from those officers as well as resisted arrest once apprehended. There's no indication in any of the record that he had a reason to be on those campuses, given the defendant's history, the facts of the case, the other factors present in the case. We also believe that that $3,000 total surety for these counts is more than reasonable. Nothing further from the state.
I want to clarify, Ms. Duncan, the one in which he ran away was yesterday, and the one in which he was actually apprehended was the 20th?
He ran away and was apprehended in both by two separate, by 3 separate officers at 2 different locations. So
Okay.
he was encountered twice within 2 days.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. We would like to actually request for his case to be reset for the MHC court. So this coming Thursday, I believe it is next Thursday. So we have no objection to the bond that is already set, and we just want to make sure that he gets set for the competency evaluation and then set for mental health courts.
Okay, so I have no authority to reset him directly to mental health court, but I can order the MH. So that's what you're requesting, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so what we're gonna do is the preset bonds will remain. He is to stay absolutely away from Georgia Tech and have no further violent contact with the officers named in this case. I'm gonna order the MHET. Ms. Kim, if you would send that to me.
Sure.
And he is supposed to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition.
Yes, we will do that. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you,
all
Your Honor.
right. That concludes this case. Is the jail not back on the line?
They were back for a second. They're there.
Okay, courtroom 2. Great. Who do we have?
We have position number 13, Ms. Wilson.
And after we do this position, can we go ahead and take the breakout case? That'll be position 7 after this one, if possible. Thank you. All right, good afternoon, Ms. Wilson. Your case is 22 CR 006420D, in which you're charged with possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Do you understand the rights that I explained earlier?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard?
It's Crystal Wilson,
Yes.
7 total. 2017 probation violation was the last. She had a possession of meth that she got 3 years probation for back in 2017. Possession of cocaine, possession of a Schedule 4 controlled substance, possession of a Schedule 2 suspended license, DUI, giving false name. That was all from a 2009 arrest.
Okay. All right, thank you. Ms. Duncan?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident did occur on January 14th, 2022 in the area of Mansell Road. The defendant was traffic stopped by an officer, and upon arrest, officers did locate 37 grams of marijuana in her purse. During that traffic stop, we do have some concern here about the risk of offense, given that the defendant does have several drug-related arrests. Given that, Your Honor, the state is going to be requesting a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and no further violations of Georgia law. Nothing further from the state.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Is this Ms. Gant? Or is it Ms. Kim?
No, Your Honor, I believe it is Ms. Kim's case.
Okay, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. I apologize.
That's okay.
Oh,
Please.
what was the last name of the defendant? I was actually working on the waiver of appearance. I kind of
It's Crystal Wilson, and the state has recommended a $3,000 signature bond for pretrial.
yes, we have no objection to signature bond on pretrial.
All right, thank you.
Thank
At
you.
this time, Ms. Wilson is going to receive a $3,000 signature bond through jail, and she is to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition.
Thank
Is
you,
there
Your
anything
Honor.
further from either party?
Nothing
Nothing
further, Your
further.
Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, Ms. Wilson.
Judge, did you say the jail or pretrial?
I said the jail.
Yes. Jail.
All right.
Position 4, Jenkins.
Is it possible for us to go to the breakout case or no? If it's not, we can come back to it.
Which position is the breakout case, Judge?
Break case has been, Ms. Falk, you were breakout.
Take East New.
Judge, you're breaking up.
I'm sorry, can you hear me now? It was position 7.
Come on, Mr. New.
All right, if we could be placed in a breakout after I give him his rights. Ms. New, your case is 22 CR 006421E. I will not sound the charge with the offense date of September the 21st of 2022. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, thank you. If I could be placed, oh, Mr. Howard, can you give us the history, please?
$23 total. He got parole violations, 2013, 2014, 2015 FTA, 2016 and 2018 FTA. Last arrest was February 2021, simple assault. In December of 2010, they gave him 12 years probation in Clayton County for obstruction. So based on the time, he would still be on probation for that. 2015, he was convicted for insurance fraud. In 2016, they gave him 2 years to serve, 6 years probation for that. So based on that time frame, he would still be on probation. 2014, false imprisonment, battery conviction. Let's see. Got a theft by taking auto conviction, 2014. 2014 misdemeanor obstruction conviction. That's all.
All right, thank you. If I could be placed in that breakout, please.
Judge, who all wants to go to the breakout room?
Yes, I believe it would be Ms. Falk, myself, Ms. Kim. Is there anyone else, Ms. Falk, that needs to join from your office?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
I have a question, excuse me.
Please hold. All right, we're back on the main session in the case of Mr. New. Is there anything further from the state of the defense? I've heard bond arguments before I make my ruling.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, at this time, defendant is going to receive a $7,000 surety bond. He is to have no further contact with the alleged victim in this case. He is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol, and he is to stay away from that location unless that is his home. If that is his home, he can return to the incident location.
I live there.
All right.
May we please have a one-time law enforcement officer visit to verify that that is his location?
Yes, he can return with law enforcement to verify that that is his home.
Yes.
All right, is there anything further from either the state of defense?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, I believe that concludes Mr. New's case. Best of luck to you, sir.
Question, so if it's 7,000, I go to a button and come and pay 700?
Talk to your attorney.
I'll call you and explain to you.
Luck to you. All right.
Position 4, Jenkins.
All right, good afternoon. Your case number is 22CR006429C, in which you're charged with 1 count of harassing communications and 1 count of terroristic threats, each with the offense date of May the 9th of 2022. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard.
So 4th arrest. Last was 2017, failure to appear. It was not prosecuted. 2017, suspended license nolo. 2017, suspended license. Suspended registration, it was dismissed. I found a TPO. The current defendant is the victim in the TPO that I saw.
Okay.
And the defendant in the TPO is a Sharaka Sanford. So that TPO was issued August 8th, 2022. It expires August 7th, 2023. That's it.
All right, thank you. Mr. Dudley?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place May 9th of 2022. The defendant made several threats of doing harm to the victim, Marocca, M-A-R-O-C-K-A, Sanford, via social media. The defendant made some threats that she would come and jump on Miss Sanford and that Miss Sanford would not see it coming. The defendant made a threat that she would drive by Miss Sanford's home because she felt like starting a war. Miss Sanford was pregnant at the time, and the defendant sent that she was trying to see a baby casket and can't wait to meet the little one, referencing Miss Sanford's unborn baby. Our victim advocate was able to speak with Miss Sanford, and Miss Sanford informed us that she was dating the defendant's child's father. And at the time, she stated the defendant had been harassing her via social media, threatening to stomp her baby. The defendant posted Miss Sanford's home and school address to social media, causing her to be kicked out of her medical school program. She stated that the defendant threatened her on social media to physically attack, and then later physically attacked her in Clayton County, causing Miss Sanford to be arrested for defending herself. She was pregnant at the time during that incident, and as a result, she now has issues concerning her pregnancy, Your Honor. And this is clearly more than an isolated incident of harassing text messages. This was a sustained level of harassment that's been going on for quite some time now that has negatively affected our victim's life in multiple aspects of her life. And the state is going to recommend a $5,000 surety bond, given the backstory of how this is continued harassment, no further contact, stay away from the home of the victim, and no drugs, alcohols, or weapons while out on bond. Nothing further from the state.
All right, thank you. Ms. Gant?
Your Honor, I believe that Ms. Sanford is on the Zoom call, and I would prefer to present after Ms. Sanford.
I was trying to ascertain whether or not I was really going to allow Ms. Sanford to speak at length, Ms. Gant. So I prefer if you go, and then I'll give both you and Mr. Dudley the opportunity to represent. So
Okay.
Ms. Gant, if you go forward, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Kiana Jenkins is 28 years old. She has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area since 2016. She has a 10-month-old child. She is not receiving any child support. We are unopposed to any no contact and stay away provisions, Your Honor. Ms. Jenkins completed high school. She does have some college in fashion marketing. She is currently employed at One Main Financial. She has been in that position for the past 10 months. My client strongly denies the allegations. Your Honor, she's 28 years old. She does not have any prior convictions nor arrests for violence. I am requesting a signature bond on her behalf. Again, she strongly denies the allegations. And Your Honor, this is basically, as I understand it, an issue. Basically, my client believes that Ms. Sanford has a personal vendetta against her because, again, as we heard from the state, they are involved with the same man, apparently have children or either expecting children by the same person. My client states that she did not send any harassing text messages whatsoever over social media. In fact, she states that it is Ms. Sanford who has been posting pictures of her child and her child's whereabouts. As we heard again from pretrial, my client was granted a restraining order. And regarding this case out of Clayton County, case number 2022 WA08486, Ms. Sanford is in fact the defendant, and my client was battered on that date. Clearly, I believe that there is a definite definite divergence in terms of versions of this story. My client has not been harassing anyone. She doesn't even have that history whatsoever. Therefore, I'm requesting a signature bond on her behalf. And again, we are unopposed to any no contact and stay away orders. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Sanford, I'm going to hear from you briefly, but I do not want you to tell me your version of the facts of this case. What I am most interested in is whether or not you wish to have any contact with the defendant. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, go ahead. What would you like to tell the court today?
I would like to tell the court, and I'm not going to go over any facts. I do just want to clarify that the restraining order, I was the petitioner. There was a date discrepancy with Fulton County where she showed up. And the only reason why Ms. Jenkins was able to do a counterclaim is for a failure to appear, not because there was evidence found. There was a Rule 9 side court date that's coming up October 4th that Ms. Jenkins has to be present, where I am totally prepared to show evidence from harassment going back to April.
Objection, Your Honor, relevance. It's outside of the scope of what Your Honor asked the complaining witness.
Okay.
Continue, Ms. Sanford, briefly.
Audio and video recording of harassment going back since April. Text messages from Mr. Lotta, the same gentleman that Ms. Wanda is referring to. He himself has encouraged me to document all the harassment from Ms. Jenkins going back since April. So there's video recordings of her physically assaulting me. I know that there's upcoming charges coming out of Clayton County for Ms. Jenkins for that assault. And as I said, there are video, audio recordings, text messages, and I want to also include that Fulton County Police Department has recorded these tweets on their body camera and has seen these tweets, and it has been investigated by Investigator Burndine out of Fulton County. These tweets and harassments has been going on, like I said, since April. I do not have a personal vendetta against Ms. Jenkins. I have actually wrote her before this incident, and I've asked her for us to have a sit down and to talk as women, and she declined and continued to send threats. This is also on direct Instagram messages. So, yeah, again, between video footage, audio footage, messages, and a TPO where I was the petitioner, where it was only a failure to appear and she did a counterclaim, I'm clearly the victim. I was pregnant. I am still pregnant by Mr. Lotta. I'm going into my 7th month, and both of them will actually be served. That's all I would like to say.
Thank you, Sanford. All right. So anything
Your Honor,
further?
And Your Honor, if I may, I would just end with and just bring again to the court's attention that despite Ms. Sanford's accounts of accounts of what's going on, she is a defendant in a case against my client for battery, and my client was granted a temporary restraining order. Thank you, Your Honor.
There's video footage.
Ms. Sanford, thank you. I've heard from you. Thank you so much. Mr. Dudley?
Yeah, Sean, the state would just like to point and reiterate its recommendation for bond being a $5,000 surety bond, with the breakdown being $2,500 for each charge. No further contact, and stay away. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Nothing further from the state.
All right, thank you. At this time, defendant is going to receive a $3,000 surety bond, $1,500 each charge. She is to have no further contact with the alleged victim in this case. She is to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And I know that there's no child shared. There is, my question from the state is, what I'm trying to clarify is there's no need to contact her to transfer any child, because the child she shares is with the same partner, correct?
Yes.
So I'm trying to make sure that there's no need for them to communicate at all.
No need at all.
All right. All right. Now the question is though, if I grant this stay away from the home, will that interfere with her ability to pick up any children?
No, Your Honor. The incident location is for Ms. Sanford. She does not have any issue staying away from there.
All right. And Ms. Sanford does not live with your client's child's father?
Not to my knowledge, Your Honor, no.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and grant the stay away then. So, okay, stay away from the home of the victim, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and no further contact. Is there anything further from either party?
Yes, Your Honor, my client does not have any convictions for violence. I would again renew my request for a signature bond.
I understand, and duly noted. I appreciate your advocacy, Ms. Grant. Ms. Gant, my ruling will stand.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you. Who do we have next?
Position 1, Brooklyn.
All right, good afternoon, Ms. Brookins. Your case number is 22 CR 006424G, and what you're charged with: one count of tearing down or destruction of mailboxes, and is it 2 counts? 2 counts of one count of tearing down mailboxes, and 1 count of defacing the mail or criminal trespass and damage to property, with the offense date of September the 21st. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard. All right, thank you. Mr. Dudley, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant was seen by apartment security using a metal object to break into a mailbox for the purpose of retrieving the items from that mailbox. This happened at the Commons apartment complex at 81 Allen Temple Court Northwest. The state is going to recommend a $1,500 signature bond, with the breakdown being $1,000 for the criminal trespass, damage to property, and $500 for the destruction of mailboxes. Stay away from the incident location, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Nothing further from the state.
I'm sorry, can you give me that incident location again, Mr. Dudley?
Yes, it was the Commons apartment complex at 81 Allen Temple Court Northwest.
All right, thank you. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Naomi Brooken is 21 years old. She has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area her entire life. She does not have any family support, Your Honor. She is estranged from her, her father has never been in her life, and she states that her mother has some health issues that will not allow her to be available. She does have sisters and brothers, ages 17, 24, and 20. Ms. Brooken is currently residentially challenged at this time. I will be requesting a social worker consult to help her get on her feet in terms of housing. She completed high school. She just recently graduated in 2020. She is unemployed and looking for a job. She does not have the means to pay anything toward bond. She denies the allegations, Your Honor. This is a first arrest. We are unopposed to the signature bond, and Your Honor, if Your Honor orders the stay away, we would ask for a one-time law enforcement escort, as Ms. Brooken does have belongings at the incident location. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. At this time, defendant will receive a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, $1,000 each charge. She is to stay away from the address on Allen Temple, but she can return one time with a member of law enforcement to get any items. She is to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition of that signature bond through pretrial. Is there anything further from either party?
Nothing from the defense. Thank you, Your Honor.
Nothing further.
All right, best of luck to you, Ms. Brooken. Who do we have next?
I'm sorry, Judge, I was with the call. What was the bond amount?
$2,000, $1,000 each charge.
Is that a surety bond?
Signature bond.
And was there,
Signature bond. Through the jail or pretrial, Judge?
I'm sorry, through pretrial.
stay away?
Position 9, come on, Mr. Shannon. Shannon!
Was there a stay away on that?
Position
Your
10,
Honor?
come on, Mr. Thomas. Thomas, come on.
Your Honor? Judge?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dudley, are you speaking? You sound very soft. What were you saying?
Yeah, I was saying, was there a stay away listed on that?
Yes,
bond?
I issued stay away. The jail just asked me to verify the amount.
Okay.
All right.
Check.
Good afternoon. Are you Felton Thomas?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, your case number is 22 CR 006426G, and what you're charged with one count of giving false information. One
Number
count.
9 or number 10, Judge? I'm sorry. Is this Shannon or Tom?
We're at Thomas, position 10.
Okay.
He's charged with possession and use of drug-related objects and one count of public drunkenness with the offense date of September the 21st. Do you understand your rights? All right, Mr. Howard, position 10, please.
40 total. Last arrest was last month, shoplifting. Before that was another arrest last month, FTA shoplifting. He was arrested 3 times in August. They all got to do with shoplifting. He was arrested in May for shoplifting, February shoplifting, January FTA for shoplifting, June 2021 FTA shoplifting, May 2021 theft by taking, April 2021 shoplifting. November 2020 criminal trespass, shoplifting conviction 2019, forgery 4th degree conviction 2017, 2011 probation violation, and a 2010 simple battery conviction. I'll stop there.
That's good. Thank you. I was going to stop you. Ms. Duncan, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor, this incident did occur yesterday at the Circle K package store located at 639 Morogo Drive in Atlanta. In this incident, Officer Watson was patrolling the area and they noticed a male actively drinking a can of Ice House in front of that location. When officers encountered the defendant, who was identified as the man drinking the Ice House, they asked for his name or ID, and he said he didn't have it. So they asked for his name and date of birth. He gave the name of Felton Thomas and the birth date of December 19th, 1982. The officer then wrote that birth date on a piece of paper for the defendant to confirm, and the defendant confirmed that that information was correct. However, upon the officer's further investigation, no information came up for that name, but the officer was able to determine that the defendant's correct birth date is actually December 19th, 1968. The defendant was apprehended and taken into custody. Search incident to arrest. Officers did locate a burnt glass pipe on his person. Given this defendant's criminal history, we do have a concern about the risk of reoffense as well as a flight risk. As preacher has stated, there are several FTAs showing that this defendant does have a clear pattern of not returning to court or respecting the legal process. The state is going to be requesting a $1,000 surety bond for the giving false information, a $500 surety bond for the possession of drug-related objects, and a $500 surety bond for the public drunk. We're going to ask that the defendant stay away from that Circle K package store at the address already listed on the record. No alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and no further violations of Georgia law, making that a total $2,000 surety bond. The state believes that is more than reasonable. Nothing further from the state.
All right, thank you. Ms. Kim or Ms. Gant? Who represents this defendant? Oh, it's Ms. Kim. Ms. Kim, please proceed.
Your Honor, I apologize. I was working on mental health. I'm really, really sorry. So I didn't think it was my case.
We are on position 10, the case of Felton Thomas. The state has requested a $2,000 surety bond. Did you hear the history, or does Mr. Howard need to repeat?
I apologize, but Mr. Howard, can you please repeat really fast? I apologize.
Give us, Mr. the main advice, please.
The main stuff is shoplifting arrest. Otherwise, I would have to go back to everything I said.
That's it. Yes. Mr. Thomas is actually 53 years old, Your Honor. He has been here in Georgia for all his life. And he has all his family members, relatives here in Georgia. And he works at warehouse for last 20 years. And he also has a high school diploma. And actually, he does not have any funds other than being himself. He has a very tight budget, so we would like to request for signature on bond. And yet we do understand that we acknowledge that he has an open case that is pending. So we would like to request for a maximum $1,000 surety bond, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Duncan, is the state's contention that the defendant had any drugs on his person? I just wanted to clarify that point for myself.
The state's contention is that he had, from the warrant, all we know is that at this time he had a burnt glass pipe. We're not sure if he had any actual drugs at this time.
All right, thank you, Ms. Duncan. I appreciate you clarifying this point. At this time, the defendant is going to receive a $2,000 split bond. It'll be a $500 surety bond, count one, a $1,000 signature bond through the jail, count two, and a $500 surety bond, count three, for a total of 1,000 surety and 1,000 signature. He must stay away from the Circle K package store, and he is to have absolutely no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further from either the state or the defense?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
That was 500 surety, count three, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Position 6, Montfort.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Montfort. Your case is 22 CR 006432Y, in which you're charged with one count of reckless conduct and one count of criminal trespass with the offense date of December the 3rd of 2020. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
It's first adult arrest. You want the juvie?
Yes, very briefly.
Your Honor, I would object to his juvenile record coming into play. I don't think it's relevant.
Understood and noted, Ms. McLeod.
2018 burglary in the first, interference with government property. 2017 burglary in the second degree.
All right, thank you.
Hold on, and vandalism to a place of worship. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dudley?
Yes, Your Honor. This offense took place on December 3rd of 2020 at 422 Holly Street Northwest. Defendant was in a verbal argument with the victim, Jamila Mallet. Spelling for the first name is going to be Jamila. Last name Mallett. The defendant became angry during the course of this argument with Ms. Mallet and damaged her screen door, her mailbox, and her trash can. During the course of committing this damage, the defendant pushed the stroller with the baby RM inside, causing the stroller to fall over. Our victim advocate was able to get in contact with the victim, and the victim stated that that was her residence that the defendant committed the damage at, and that the damage cost a few $100s to fix. The state is going to recommend a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 for the criminal trespass, and $1,000 for the reckless conduct. No further contact with the victim, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right, thank you. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 20 years old. He is employed, works in construction. He is the father of a 2-year-old son, and he is actively involved in his son's life, Your Honor. This is the first time that he has been arrested. This incident is remote. It happened approximately two years ago, Your Honor. My client has not been in any trouble since then. He's now a father, actively involved with his child. I believe he's a good candidate for signature bond, Your Honor, given the facts as alleged, and also that this alleged incident was quite some time ago. I would ask the court to give him a signature bond so he can get out of jail, continue to work, and to take care of his child. Thank you, Your Honor.
And Ms. McLeod, did you have a position regarding the no contact or the stay away?
We have no issue with that at all, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, at this time, defendant's going to receive a $1,000 surety bond, $500 each count. He is to have no contact with the alleged victim. I'm going to sound for Ms. Mallett. Is Ms. Mallett present on this Zoom conference and wishes to be heard? All right, hearing none. He is to stay away from the address on Holly Street, and he is to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Mr. Mumford.
Is this about your bond, Mr. Mumford?
Yes, ma'am. And I stay on 411 Holly Street, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Just stay away from 422 Holly Street, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. I believe that that's addressed this entire case. Is there anything further from the state of defense?
Just to clarify.
Your Honor, I think, considering the fact that this is his first adult arrest, that it was not a violent offense or anything, that he should receive a signature bond, Your Honor. Also, it's been like 2 years since this incident happened. He has been living in the vicinity and there has been no further issues between him and the complaining witness.
I understand, Ms. McLeod. Mr. Dudley, you had a question?
I was just getting clarification on your ruling as to the no further contact.
There is a no further contact order. He is to have no contact with Ms. Mallett and stay away from 422 Holly Street. However, he can return to his home at the alternate address on Holly Street, and the surety bond of $1,000 will stand.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is there anything further from either party?
Nothing further.
Mr. Mumford, please give Ms. McLeod a call. I don't want you to inadvertently.
Yes, you can call me.
All right. Best of luck to you. And thank you. Ms. McLeod, does that conclude your business today?
No, it does not, Your Honor. I do have another.
Oh, okay. I thought you were leaving us. All right.
Ellington, come on. Position 2, Ellington.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Ellington. Your case number is 22 CR 006425Y, in which you're charged with criminal trespass with the offense date of September the 21st. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard.
17 total. Last arrest was 2008. Yeah, simple battery and obstruction conviction. I mean, I'm sorry, not obstruction, but hindering person from making 911 call. Before that was 2008 trespass, 05 suspended license. You want me to keep going?
Yes.
Okay. 05 possession of a controlled substance. 04 probation violation. 03 deposit account fraud. And
Okay.
before that was in the 90s.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. Thank you, Mr. Dudley.
Yes, Your Honor. On September 1st of 2022, Officer Clark responded to a call from residents regarding the defendant living in a vacant unit and defecating inside and outside of the unit. Officer Clark responded to the location and removed the defendant from the premises with a criminal trespass warning. On September 21st, Officer Duncan responded to the location and met with the caller, who advised that the defendant had broken the door and was inside the residence again. The state is going to recommend a $3,000 signature bond, a stay away from the incident location, at the Abbey Ridge Apartments at 3136 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Nothing further from the state.
I'm sorry, can you give me that address one more time? 3136 Martin Luther King?
Yeah, Junior Drive, yes.
All right, thank you. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Andre Ellington is 56 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He has a mother here. However, she is unable to provide any support to him at this time in terms of bonding out of jail. Mr. Ellington completed high school. He is currently homeless. He also has been unemployed since the beginning of the pandemic. I will get a social worker consult to assist with housing. He's presumed innocent in these allegations, Your Honor. I am unopposed to the signature bond as he is recommended. And again, Your Honor, we are unopposed to the stay away as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The defendant will receive a $6,000 signature bond through the jail. He must stay away from the address of Martin Luther King Jr. Drive and have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything further from either party?
No,
Nothing
Your
from
Honor.
the defense.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Position 3, Henderson.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Henderson. Your case is 22 CR 006431A, in which you're charged with simple battery family violence with the offense date of July the 20th of 2022. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
14 total. Last arrest was a week ago. Probation violation, suspended license out of Brookhaven. 2020 probation for forgery in the 4th degree. Came off a 2018 arrest. 2017 probation for driving. The last violent arrest was a 2013 simple battery. It was NOD. Everything else was driving. He had a 04 cruelty in the first simple battery. It wasn't prosecuted.
Oh, what year was that? 04?
Yes, not prosecuted.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dudley?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place July 20th of 2022 at 441 Deckner Ave Southwest. The victim, Shamaya, SHAMYA Bryant, had an argument with her grandmother. And when her grandmother left the house, her uncle, the defendant, kicked in her bedroom door, came into her room, and jumped in her face about disrespecting her grandmother. The defendant pushed Miss Bryant's head with his fingers multiple times and then slapped her across the face. Your Honor, at no point in any time, whether it's disciplining or not, should that rise to someone being slapped in their face. The state is going to recommend a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, a stay away from the incident location, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. Nothing further from the state.
All right, thank you. Is it the state's contention that defendant previously resided there at the Deckner Avenue location?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Xavier Henderson is 37 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He has 4 children, ages 16, 14, 13, and 7. We are opposed to the stay away of the incident location. However, Your Honor, I was unable to speak with his mom, Patricia Henderson. My client informed me that Ms. Shamaya Bryant does not live there and has not been there since this incident occurred. I would ask in the alternative for a one-time law enforcement escort to verify that Ms. Bryant has vacated the premises, and if she has, then that my client be permitted to stay there, Your Honor. He states that he receives mail there and also has some belongings. Mr. Henderson completed he completed the 11th grade. He is currently employed at the chicken sausage stand. He has been in that position for 1 year. He strongly denies the allegations. He denies making any physical contact with Ms. Bryant whatsoever. He did state, however, that she had been very disrespectful to his mother, and he was merely asking her to not be disrespectful. And the warrant, of course, reads that Ms. Bryant did not have any visible injuries. I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Henderson's behalf. He does not have any convictions for violence, Your Honor. It seems that his offenses have been non-violent convictions. Therefore, I'm requesting the signature bond. He is anxious to get back to work so that he can continue taking care of his children. We are unopposed to the no contact orders, and I would ask that Your Honor grant a one-time law enforcement to confirm that Ms. Bryant has vacated the premises. And finally, Your Honor, if Your Honor determines that he's ineligible for a signature bond, I would ask for a bond of no more than $1,000. Thank you.
All right, I am going to sound for Ms. Bryant. If Ms. Bryant is present on the Zoom conference and wishes to be heard, this is your opportunity to speak. All right, hearing none, at this time, defendant will receive a surety bond in the amount of $1,000. He is to have no further contact with the alleged victim, last name Bryant. He is to stay away from the address on Dayton Avenue if the victim still resides there. He can return with law enforcement to make that determination. If the alleged victim is no longer residing there, he can return to that location. He is to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further from either party?
Nothing further from the defense. Thank you, Your Honor.
Nothing further from the state.
Best of luck to you, Mr. Henderson. Who do we have next?
Position 5, Knight.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Knight. Your case number is 22 CR 006430B, in which you're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass with the offense date of July the 26th. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Mr. Howard?
I don't have that history. My coworker got it. He went to felon, so I have to go.
For the state then for the history there. Thank you. Mr. Dudley, please proceed and please give us the relevant history.
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant was arrested on 2 counts of aggravated assault in 2019, arrested for felony theft by receiving stolen property in 2021, and aggravated assault and cruelty to children in the first degree September of this year as a FTA this year as well. This incident took place on July 26, 2022 at 4712 Flat Shoals Road. The defendant became hostile for no reason with the victim, Nakiria, Nakireia Henderson, and he began to start destroying the things in her home while shouting profanities at her. Officers who arrived at the scene observed furniture scattered around the home, broken glass all over the floor, and food scattered across the kitchen floor. Our victim advocate was able to get in touch with Ms. Henderson, and Ms. Henderson let us know that she and the defendant are no longer in a relationship and they do not live together. They share 1 child together. The victim stated that she is in fear of the defendant and wants no contact with him. She stated that the defendant assaulted her yesterday, and that's why the police were called, and that's why he was picked up and arrested on this warrant. The victim stated that she wanted the defendant to stay away from her home. The defendant has an open case with the 2 counts of aggravated assault from 2019 that are currently in bench warrant status, case number 22 SC 182986, and he was out for that case on a surety bond of $80,000. The defendant also has an open aggravated assault strangulation case from May of 2022 with this same victim, case number 22 CP 212527. The defendant has another open aggravated assault case with cruelty to children in the first degree for events that happened on September 1st of this year. Case number being 22 CP 212528. Your Honor, clearly this defendant has an issue with keeping his hands to himself, especially when it concerns the victim, in this case, Ms. Henderson. That gives the state serious concerns for her safety and the defendant's risk of reoffending. Given that the defendant has been violent with her in a relationship that existed at the time of the incidents, the fact that they share a child together, the state also has concerns about the defendant influencing this witness. And also given the fact that he has a case in bench warrant status, and the FTA from 2022, the state has concerns that the defendant is a flight risk. We're going to recommend for those reasons that he receive a $5,000 cash bond, no further contact with the victim, a stay away from the incident location with a one-time police escort, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right, thank you. Mr. Howard, do you know what bond he received that felony this morning?
There's no bond.
No bond. Okay, thank you. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Jamar Knight is 21 years old. He has spent in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He shares a 2-month-old with the complaining witness, Ms. Nakaria Henderson. Your Honor, we are unopposed to the stay away and the no contact orders. I was not able to reach Ms. Henderson, therefore we shall defer to the court's ruling. Mr. Knight completed high school. He states that he is self-employed, has been a custom designer for t-shirts. Obviously, his business is not profitable at this time, nor will it be. He denies the allegations. He's presumed innocent in any and all open cases, including this one. We did not hear about any prior convictions for violence, and for this misdemeanor offense, Your Honor, I'm requesting a signature bond. If Your Honor determines that he's ineligible, then I would ask for a bond of no more than $1,000 surety. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. At this time, the defendant will receive a $3,500 surety bond. He has to have no contact with the alleged victim and stay away from the incident location. He is to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further from either party?
Yes, Your Honor. May you order third-party transfer?
Yes, he can arrange to see his child by contacting a third party. And he can return one time with a member of law enforcement to get any items. Mr. Knight, the best thing for you to do is speak to Ms. Gant regarding this case. You don't want to inadvertently say something that goes against your constitutional right to remain silent, okay? Do you have a question?
I'm happy to call you, sir. I'm happy to give you a call, Mr. Knight.
Ms. Gant's gonna give you a call, all right? All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. I think they may be frozen at the jail.
Do you guys, hello?
To make a statement?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. I'm sounding for you. Do you wish to make a statement?
Oh, yes.
Wait, before you begin, please raise your right hand. What the court is most interested in is whether you wish to have contact with the defendant. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right. What would you like to tell the court? Again, we are most interested in contact with the defendant.
I wanted to drop the charges.
All right. Is that what you like? Would you like to tell the court anything else?
No, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. The ruling will stand as just previously given. Is there anything further from either the state or the defense?
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
All right. Best of luck to you, Mr. Knight. Who do we have next?
Done. Position 8, Parker.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Parker. Your case number is 22-CR006422F, in which you're charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence with the offense dated August 18th. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3. That's 27 total. Last arrest was ag battery conviction. 2020. So let me look at this bond assessment. He's on probation for ag battery, ag assault, and cruelty in the third. That's 21 SC 178602. In April, they gave him 3 years probation for that. 2020 failed to appear. 2020 simple battery family violence. 2019 obstruction, possession of drug-related objects. 2019 possession of marijuana with intent. 2017 suspended license. 2012 sale of marijuana, possession of a knife or a firearm during a commission. 2011 cruelty in the third, sale of marijuana, possession of a knife or a firearm during a commission. saw something that was.
Okay, that's sufficient. Thank you.
Okay.
That's sufficient. Ms. Duncan, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor, I just want to say for the record that the recent conviction on April 11th, 2022, which was ag battery, ag assault, family violence, and 2 counts of cruelty to children in a third, was against this same victim. The victim in this case before the court today is Brianna Foster. Name is spelled Ambreanna. Last name Foster, common spelling. The date of incident is August 18th, 2022. The incident did occur in the 1400 area of Lee Street. In this instance, Ms. Foster came into the zone for a precinct to report that her child's father and boyfriend had attacked her after coming to her home, but he needed a ride home, so she gave him a ride home. And on the ride home, they got into a verbal dispute that turned physical when he punched her in the face with a closed fist and struck her in the face several times with an open hand, as well as grabbed her neck and pulled her hair, pulling her wig off of her head. She also stated that he threw water on her. Our victim advocate did get a chance to speak with Ms. Foster about this incident. However, she does not want to prosecute and has since changed her story, but the state has a concern about the risk of reoffense here, given that he was just convicted of serious felony offenses, violent offenses against Ms. Foster and some children that they may share together. We also have a concern about intimidation of the witness in this case, Your Honor, because they are in a relationship. She reiterated that to our victim advocate this morning. We're concerned here because Your Honor is well aware of the cycles of violence. And in this case, we also have somewhat of a concern of a flight risk, given that this defendant does have several FTAs, most recent being 2020, as well as the likelihood to respond to the legal process, given that there are also probation violations in this defendant's history. So the state is going to be requesting a $2,500 cash only bond, no further contact with the victim in this case, no further child contact unless the children are legitimized with custody and visitation plans, and stay away from her address, which is 1457 Richland Road Southwest in Atlanta, Georgia. 2 weeks of anger management, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and nothing further from the state.
Thank you. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 37 years old. He is the father of 4 children. Their ages 12, 11, 10, and a 4-year-old that he shares with Miss Foster. The 4-year-old currently lives with him at his address where he lives with his mother. So that's the 4-year-old that lives with him, and also the 12-year-old child lives with him. So he's taking care of those 2 children, Your Honor. My client denies that he got physical with Miss Foster. I had the opportunity to speak with Miss Foster myself, and she also tells me that nothing physical happened between them at all on that particular occasion. While I acknowledge that my client has some history, Your Honor, he is presumed innocent here, and he has stated that the allegations made in the warrant are untrue, and my conversation with Miss Foster, she also confirms that what the warrant says is not true. Based on that, Your Honor, I would say that my client is improperly arrested, and I would ask the court to give him a signature bond because he was arrested based on facts that he says are untrue, and the alleged complaining witness, who is on the Zoom, also says are untrue. If the court is not inclined to give my client a signature bond, I would ask for a very low bond, Your Honor, because he is employed, which does not make a lot of money, and he doesn't have anyone who can help him to make bond. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Foster, I see you on the Zoom conference. If you'd like to make a statement, please please unmute your screen and please raise your right hand.
Oh, I'm
Do you
sorry.
swear, do you swear and affirm that the testimony you give today will be the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what would you like to tell the court at this time?
Yes, I went to the court that he did not physically hit me or punch me in the face and all that kind of stuff. My wig did come off, but the only thing he did was took my phone and walked away from the situation. So He got the car.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to do, Foster? I'm sorry,
No,
the
ma'am.
phone went out. All right, thank you. All right, anything further from the State of Defense?
Yes, Your Honor, they do not live together and have not lived together. This is what my client tells me.
The
All
state
right.
will just renew its request for the recommendation as stated on the record.
All right, thank you. At this time, the defendant is going to receive a $3,500 surety bond. He is to have no further contact with the alleged victim at this time. That can be revisited at a later date. He is to, he can arrange to see his child by contacting a third party. He can, to arrange that transport. Should he need a one-time escort to the incident location, he can do so with a member of law enforcement to get any items. And he is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition. Is there anything further?
Your Honor, the child in question lives with him.
Okay, well, if he may need to transfer the child to the mother, he can do that through a third party. All right, anything further?
Nothing further from the state.
All right, best of luck to you both. All right, who do we have next? I believe it's only left 9.
Shannon.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Shannon. Your case number is 22 CR 006423F, and what you're charged, 1 count of criminal trespass and 1 count of possession and use of drug-related objects with the offense date of September 21st. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
25 total. Last arrest was in July. Possession of drug-related objects, criminal trespass. He's on probation, possession of cocaine with intent. 2015, they gave him 10 years probation. It's 14 SC 127737. Before the July arrest was a May arrest, probation violations. February probation violations. January criminal trespass. November 2021 probation violations. February 2021 probation. 2019 parole violation. Entering auto conviction 2019. 2018 escape conviction. 2014 he had a trafficking and felony theft by receiving. He went to prison after that.
That's sufficient. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Ms. Duncan.
Yes, Your Honor, this incident did occur yesterday at the mobile gas station located at 575 Chapel Road in Northwest in Atlanta. Officers responded to a call from the store clerk, Muhammad MiyasyasIWALA, who indicated to officers that the defendant was back on the property after being told not to return to that property. The store clerk said that he told the defendant several times to leave the store. He continued to walk around the store and ask customers for money, and started banging on the windows. Officers indicated that he was given a trespass warning from this location on August 29th, 2022. And he was advised at that time that if he returned, he would be arrested. The officer on scene was able to verify that it was the defendant who was on the property. He was detained, and when he was pressed for weapons, they found a glass pipe on his person. Officers did indicate that this defendant had already been arrested 3 times this year for the same charges, once on January 13th, 2022, once on July 5th, 2022, once on February 7th, 2022. Officer did indicate, and it is of note, that the defendant had been enrolled in pre-arrest diversion to help with his battles that he indicated that he had with life struggles for homelessness and substance abuse to the officers. However, he was later discharged from the program. Given the facts and circumstances in this case, Your Honor, the state does believe that this defendant does have a severe risk of reoffense, as well as a flight risk, given the amount of FTAs in his record and likelihood not to respond to the legal process. Given that, the state is going to be requesting a $2,500 total surety bond. That's $1,500 for the criminal trespass and $1,000 surety for the possession of drug-related objects and ADET, a stay away from the incident location, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and no further violations of Georgia law. Nothing further from the state.
Thank you, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Michael Shannon, he is 29 years old and he was born and raised here in Georgia. And he has no children and he's not married. However, he has a parents and brother and sister. He has been unemployed for the last 3 months and his education level is up to 10th grade. He could not finish his high school and he has been homeless for the last 8 months. And he has been struggling with his addiction. So we would like to request for, considering the fact that he does have a probation right now, we would like to request for maximum $1,000 surety bond. Even that it will be considered as like a no bond for him because there's no way he's going to be able to make a payment for that. So that's it, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, at this time, the defendant is going to receive a $2,500 split bond, $1,500 count one, $1,000, $1,500 surety for count one, and $1,000 signature bond through the jail for count two. He is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol, and he is to stay away from the mobile gas station, I believe on Chappelle Road. Is there anything further from either party?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing further from the state.
All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Shannon. I believe that concludes our entire calendar. Ms. Grace, will you please review the calendar for me? And courtroom 2 can be excused. Have a great rest of your afternoon.
Thank you. You do the same, Judge. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Position number 1 is a $2,000 pretrial bond. Reset further notice. Position number 2 is a $6,000 SOB bond through the jail. Reset further notice. Position number 3 is a $1,000 good bond. Reset 10-6 SAP. Position number 4 is a $3,000 good bond. Reset 10-6-22 SAP. Position number 5 is a $3,500 good bond, reset 10-6 SAP. Position number 6 is a $1,000 good bond, reset 10-6 SAP. Position number 7 is a $7,000 good bond, reset 10-6 SAP. Position number 8 is a $3,500 good bond, reset 10-6 SAP. Position number 9 is a $2,500 split bond, reset 10-6 SAP. Position number 10 is a $2,000 split bond, reset 10-6 SAP. Position number 11 is a $2,000 good bond, reset 10-6 SAP. Position number 12 is a $3,000 good bond, reset 10-6 SAP. Position number 13 is a $3,000 SOB bond, reset further notice. Any questions or concerns?
All right, hearing none, we'll be in recess until tomorrow's SCA calendar, at which time I believe Judge Mincy will be presiding. Take care, everyone, and have a great rest of your afternoon.
You on Saturday?
I am not. So I'll see you all next week.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Good evening.
Good evening.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend, Judge. We're gonna miss you.
Take care.